Thank you, and beautiful good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Most cordially welcome to Stuttgart, welcome to Mercedes-Benz Vans. I'm really happy to see you all here on time, well, in spite of the winter moving in. 1 year ago, we invited you here to the Stuttgart Fairground, to our van innovation campus, in order to have a look into the future of transportation together with you. And today, a piece of this future becomes present, because we want to show you how we launch our innovations to the road. In a production vehicle, that is, and there is no model better suited for that than our new Sprinter. In just a few weeks, we are going to launch the third generation to the market. Smart hardware for the transport in the digital era. In specific terms, this means with the new Sprinter, we want to offer our customers an unprecedented system solution, which is going to offer a real added value in your day-to-day business already from the first vehicle handed over. And since this topic is so important as a whole, we decided to invite you to today's Innovation Campus. During the accreditation at the counter, when you came in this morning, you hopefully were provided with a card with a QR code. And behind this link, you will find all the press material of today. Please look at it in the course of the day several times, because we are going to add further topics in the course of the day. Well, my dear guests, our new Sprinter hits the market in a time when the demand for its purpose is higher than ever before. Now, just before Christmas, just have a look around the inner cities. And in order to report on this, in order to understand the challenges in the cities, we have invited one of the experts. I'm really happy to have Dr. Matthias Winkenbach with us today. Most cordially welcome to you. Together with our other guests from America, he certainly had the longest trip here. He comes from the Boston MIT, and he heads the area of data-based distribution networks. In 2014, he was awarded the Academic Award of the Bundesvereinigung Logistik. So, he is a proven expert who can analyze and describe the current developments. Thank you very much for finding your way here. After Dr. Winkenbach, our second speaker will follow Volker Mornhinweg, head of Mercedes-Benz Vans. Good morning, dear Volker. Volker Mornhinweg is going to introduce you into the strategy for the new generation of our flagship. But before we come to the contents of the new Sprinter, please allow me to spend a few weeks on our own purposes, and that's a personal change internally. Our well-known and certainly highly appreciated colleague, Katja Bott. Well, she took off to America in November, and there she is going to face a new transatlantic challenge. In my team, she now heads the communication of Daimler Trucks North America, and her position is taken over by Andrea Eberhardt. She is here in the front. Good morning, Andrea, and welcome. Andrea, well, for now she is still busy with the small vehicles in global communication of Mercedes-Benz cars. There she is responsible for international press events and press launches, and we are really to have you with us now. And we wish you a good start. Well, ladies and gentlemen, enough of preliminaries. I wish you an interesting event, interesting information, and we'll have plenty of time to accommodate for your questions after Dr. Winkenbach and Volker Mornhinweg. So I would like to hand over to you now. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Martens. Thank you for this kind introduction. And I too would like to say hello and welcome to this brief keynote on the future of logistics in the so-called global megacities. Well, cities already today set the pulse both of the economic and the social lives of our time. And with progressing globalization, I'm sure you all have heard about that, the importance of cities is going to increase further. The McKinsey Global Institute predicted a few years ago that the 600 fastest growing cities in the world, and many of these growing cities are in the emerging markets. Until 2025, they're going to make up for about 60% of the global economic output. At the same time, these 600 cities are going to accommodate about 1/4 of the global population. And if you look at these figures, you should be aware rather soon that logistics has evolved, especially about the last mile, the last bit of the way to the end customer, and why in the past years almost everything has been about this issue. The cities are and remain the most important markets for all commodities. They also set the pulse for technological innovation, but also for social change. Quite often, we fail to see that global logistics processes are the backbone of all these processes. So why are there many companies, when it comes to this last mile, it's the shortest leg of such a delivery chain. Why is this final leg considered to be the most complex part of this chain? Well, I could go on for 2 hours talking about this, but I wanted to break it down to one example, maybe. The smallest part of a global logistics system is the individual route, and the example here is the parcel deliverer, UPS, for example. And if you look at their routes, you will see that that's normally 120 customers, 120 stops they have to do on the day. And if you now take out your calculators or mobile phones and try to find out how many possible combinations exist to get to all these stops, then the number you find is this one down here. And quite obviously, this goes way beyond the complexity and the understanding of a human brain. Of course, only some few of these combinations are realistically feasible. In theory, only a single route is the optimal way to service these 120 customers. Problem being, however, the question which of these combinations is the optimal is certainly dependent on external factors, often uncertain factors like the current traffic situation. And this makes it clear how difficult it is to really get a grasp of this smallest part of the logistics chain and to optimize it. And if you have a logistics provider like UPS, and they alone cover 25,000 of such routes every day, and this makes it clear that even minute gains in efficiency on how to overcome the last mile will lead to enormous economic effects. The World Street Journal in 2015 calculated if UPS were 1 mile more efficient in covering these routes, the cost savings would amount to some 50 million euros. The logistics providers, however, are also in a constant race against a global megatrend, that's globalization. The UN predictions say that until 2030, the number of megacities will have risen to more than 40. Megacities, by the way, we normally say these are cities with more than 10 million inhabitants. Problem for logistics is not necessarily the mere number of big cities. The problem much rather is that these cities can grow only to a certain extent for topographical reasons. Quite soon there are physical limits, and then the growth is only in the third dimension. So we see ever higher levels of population density, demand density, but also traffic density. And these increasing levels are the core drivers for operative uncertainty in the last mile, for example, because there's an increasing risk of traffic jams or other unpredicted events. Another trend with which the logistics industry is faced, especially in urban areas, is e-commerce. Increasing e-commerce volumes on the one hand lead to increased fragmentation of urban commodity flows. Urban logistics systems see themselves faced with an increasing load of smaller, fragmented individual deliveries to end customers, whereas the big wholesale flows to retailers is rather declining. And if you remember the delivery example from before, this delivery process is ever more fragmented, more difficult, and it's more and more difficult to really combine these deliveries with one another and to find a condensed, a optimized route. At the same time, it's the online shippers like Amazon. They make the customer expectations linked to online purchases go up all the time. Today, we are all accustomed to ordering something today online and get it tomorrow, maybe even find it outside our door this evening in a few hours. And we all have gotten accustomed to logistics processes adapting to our everyday life and not vice versa. We expect ever more flexible, short-term time slots within which we want to be at home to receive our goods. And all of this, of course, leads to enormous complexity on an operative side for the logistics providers in such complex environments like cities. So we have learned that the urban last mile is more and more difficult to manage from day to day, and at the same time, thank you. Very nice, thank you. At the same time, we see that the market requirements vis-à-vis urban logistics providers is increasing all the time. And these seemingly incompatible trends have to be made compatible, and for this reason, future logistics systems have to fulfill certain requirements. On the one hand, they have to be more responsive and more proactive. They must be able to adjust to changing market conditions quickly. For example, changing traffic conditions, short-term changes in customer requirements, or also the flexibility in availability of carrier capacities. Proactive means they must not only react, but ideally they should anticipate such things and adjust themselves early on. Of course, this requires that we abandon government-regulated concepts of traffic networks. In the future, logistics systems will be more and more flexible and dynamic. And all of this requires, of course, that the targeted compilation, transmission and evaluation of any kind of data will be more and more in the focus of considerations, so that already when developing new vehicle concepts or developing new delivery concepts, this is borne in mind from the beginning. And logistics systems can be responsive only if they are completely integrated, and the individual players in the delivery process have to be internetworked completely. And on the long run, there will be no way around having individual parts of an urban delivery chain operating autonomously, or at least partly autonomously. And one part of the answer to the global challenges of urban logistics lies in the analysis, intelligent use and analysis of data. I mean, it's in everybody's word and mouth. Buzzwords like machine learning, big data, but what the exact implications and meanings are in the context of urban logistics and how realistic is their application. At the MIT, we cooperate with a series of logistics partners to combine different data sources with each other. Telemetric data combined with motion data, transaction data with the customer are added, and then maybe something on top about the weather or traffic situation. And then we employ machine learning algorithms to draw conclusions from these data sources to the historic performance of a logistics system. And these findings then help us to plan systems and control systems better in the future. The methods underlying all of this, for example, the statistics, the optimization algorithms we use, they normally are very complex and complicated. Well, that's good, otherwise I would be unemployed, wouldn't I? But what's interesting about this? The underlying data, quite often they are really trivial, very simple, and very easy to gather. What is important, it must be clear from the outset that this data has to be acquired towards a certain end. Quite often we work with data records which were really sampled for a completely different purpose, and this makes it difficult to derive conclusions because the quantity or quality of the data is not right. Future vehicle concepts, however, should right from the outset be set out from the design phase on to gather the right data and the proper quality and quantity to transmit them efficiently, and maybe in the future even to evaluate them real-time on board. What does it mean in specific terms? For example, we cooperate with some partners in industry. I am sorry for the frequent interruptions and have a little bit of a bad cold. With some of our partners in industry, we cooperate to establish motion profiles and further data to gain knowledge of the local factors of our delivery crews. For example, we want to find out under which traffic situations do the drivers prefer certain bypasses, or what time of day do the deliverers prefer certain parking areas, or about the customers, what framework conditions or which parameters make it likely that a delivery fails, the customer cannot be delivered, cannot be serviced properly. And that's just one example how we use machine learning algorithms to take simple data, motion data, telemetry data, transaction data, to derive decisive findings which help our partners to do better route planning. Away from this mere consideration of history data, it's increasingly important to take to real-time data recording, transmission and evaluation. For example, if your purpose is to establish a really responsive urban logistics system, then there is no way avoiding that you need to know at any moment in time which vehicle, which commodity or which parcel is at which location, in which status, at which transit distance it's just moving. At the same time, local connectivity is of increasing importance. It's important in this transition from one process step to the next one to ensure a smooth handover, for example, from one carrier to another one. Maybe I should keep this glass in my hand. And, well, another technology, which is everybody's word now, could become important. That's the blockchain. The blockchain is a buzzword which is often discussed, but people quite often do not know what it really means. In our context, the blockchain might help to, well, not only transmit parcel-specific data from one carrier to the next one, but also to evaluate this data and to eliminate any additional valuation effort. Well, these are not really castles in the air, as this example shows. Here we cooperate with one manufacturer of sports items, and for the most important customers and for the latest state-of-the-art products, they try to develop a completely new delivery concept. The aim of this concept is to be able to find any customer, anytime, any place in a city, like in New York City, and to provide them with a tailored solution within 30 to 60 minutes. Of course, this would not be possible with the traditional way of approach. Now, we go for extremely data-driven concepts like mobile hyper-local inventories. What we try is, we try to take the goods, the inventory, as closely as possible to the customers, and it's not enough to distribute them to static points throughout the city. No, we really try to have the goods on vehicles. So they are going to live in van which moves through town constantly in order to be as closely as possible to the place of delivery where we expect the next customer inquiry anytime. And this, of course, is extremely data and analytics driven. And on the capacity side also we follow a new approach with this, because we do not go for static fleets which we control completely ourselves, but we try to involve crowdsourced carriers like Uber Rush, for example, with I hope this is not a fire alarm. Okay, and with such crowdsourced carrier solutions, we try to grow dynamically depending on capacity and breathe with capacity. And all of this, of course, is extremely driven by data. It requires the ability to analyze, and it really adds complexity to such a system. Networking, however, is also possible beyond the limits of users and systems. For example, we have to come to a point where individual deliveries in a city are coordinated and consolidated more. What we have to avoid is sending a variety of vehicles through town half empty, but we have to use the available fleet capacity more within the city in order to compensate for the effects of the increased capacity for urban delivery services. Also trying to keep emissions and problems as low as possible in cities. At the same time, since these vehicles constantly communicate with other partners in traffic or smart infrastructure, we'll be able to optimize mobility in the city as a whole system, not just as mobility of one vehicle. This might be that traffic signs are switched according to the current traffic flow, or that vehicle-to-vehicle communication can avoid accidents, thus avoiding traffic jams. Smart infrastructure can be used to show the availability of parking lots to vehicle, which really is important, especially for urban logistics. That's one of the main efficiency killer, search for a parking lot. And last but not least, we see more and more business models at the horizon, which build on the concept of data as a service. Currently, we are cooperating with one of the leading parcel services to find out how all this data, which their vehicles gather day in, day out in all the cities of the world, how this data can be made available commercially for other providers. And to conclude with, well, I cannot conclude any urban logistics talk without touching upon the topic of drones. That's really relevant because when it comes to complexity and data analytics, that's one decisive enabler to establish completely new kinds of delivery technologies. Let's stick to this example, drones. Providers like Amazon, they like to make people believe that the delivery with urban drones in urban areas will be reality tomorrow. Well, we disagree. The way to that is certainly a long one and a stony one, but we're not really sure whether that's ever going to happen. But our research indicates that if there is any use case for drone delivery in densely populated cities, then this will be possible only in combination with other vehicle concepts like delivery vans. And this closes the circle. For such a complex system, multimodal delivery concepts, to control and design them where different modes of vehicles communicate and interact with one another, a new level of connectivity has to be created between these vehicle concepts, and we need to have the data at hand to use them for planning and controlling. I hope my brief presentation made it clear that the urban last mile will keep us busy for a few more years, and especially connectivity and data analytics are just at the beginning of a very interesting development. My personal opinion is that with a new generation of vehicle concepts suitable for urban delivery, we'll create possibilities of which we might not even dream today. And I hope that we are going to learn a lot more about this today here. Thank you for your interest and have an interesting day here in Stuttgart.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sprinter Innovation Campus. Thanks to Dr. Winkenbach for giving us this insight into the transformation of logistics in urban environments. I'm sure who went Christmas shopping on Saturday will actually appreciate this transformation. I don't need any water, it was just the colleague. Okay, the city is the working and living space of our vehicles. Many of modern services that make urban life so agreeable are not conceivable without vans. Because in a digitized world, the hardware, they are the hardware that take products and services to customers. And if life and logistics in the city changes, our vans also have to change. And for this reason, a year ago, we held our Van Innovation Campus. At the time, we presented the future initiative Advance, and that revolutionizes Mercedes-Benz at the moment. We are becoming the supplier of holistic mobility solutions rather than being a mere vehicle producer. We started Advance because the enormous developments in cities and in digitization create completely new challenges, not just for us, but also for our customers. At the time, we presented a lot of intelligent solutions for these areas, partially in the form of pilot projects, partially as concepts that we then worked on. What was a strategic look into our workshop a year ago becomes more concrete in today's event. With this Sprinter Innovation Campus, we'd like to demonstrate to you how we have developed the new Sprinter. As the first standard production car by Mercedes-Benz Vans, it brings the basic idea of Advance onto the road. And we have good reasons for relying on the Sprinter for that purpose. Since 1995, our flagship has been on the spearhead of technological development. At the time, it established a new segment, the boundaries of which were constantly redefined. And it will be the case this time as well. This is our claim. The new Sprinter embodies our advanced philosophy and thus goes far beyond anything that you have known in this segment so far. Ladies and gentlemen, our completely redesigned Sprinter will be a unique integrated transport solution. A completely connected van as a part of the Internet of Things. And connectivity is actually designed into the DNA of the vehicle already. And I'm not just claiming this, we're also going to prove this, how we turned a combination of fundamental innovations and specific industry focus into the optimum solution for our customers. Why is the Sprinter the perfect basis for this? Well, first of all, there's the Sprinter success story so far. Just a few figures. All over, the Sprinter is on the roads of more than 130 countries. Since its premiere, we have sold more than 3.3 million models. In the first 9 months of this year alone, we have sold more than 142,000 units. So still a record level, even in the last year of the current model. What is this success based on? Well, clearly the Sprinter is the perfect answer to the challenges of modern transport in every industry. Just recall the 90s, when we first launched the Sprinter. Digitization started very slowly in 1995, and it changed our lives. Many bought their first cell phone. The Internet was very expensive and still very slowly, but it didn't just offer a plethora of information, but also new forms of consuming. Think of eBay or Amazon. Internet giants appeared out of nowhere, often on platform models. Since then, traditional companies had to adapt their business models to the competition, and to fiercer competition, because customers were now able to compare offers and pick out the best option. This cost pressure required an even higher transport efficiency. Particularly goods transport became more fragmented, more dynamic, and more individual. Businesses of all types needed a new type of van for all industries with high annual mileage and large cargo space and a lot of flexibility. In this period, our Sprinter struck the right chord because that was exactly what it scored with. A van with maximum flexibility that becomes a customized solution based on the interaction of customer requests and manufacturer response. What was really remarkable about this new approach was that the Sprinter was the first model by Mercedes-Benz that didn't just carry a combination of figures and letters as a name. Instead, it got an international name that was easily understood and that puts its concept in a nutshell: flexible, agile, and unique. Today, this name stands for a whole segment, and we're really proud of that. At the same time, it's an obligation for us for the future. The Sprinter must always be at the spearhead of development and must be a benchmark for the transport industry, for large logistics companies and for the crafts business round the corner alike. And this is where Advance comes in. As I said, we are transforming. Rather than being a mere vehicle producer, we are becoming a supplier of integrated transport and mobility solutions. Meanwhile, the initiative consists of 5 areas. Digital Advance is about connectivity and digital networking of our vehicles. With Solution Advance, we're developing hardware solutions that make daily business more efficient for our customers. In the area Rental Advance, we deal with innovative rental models with a pay-per-use approach, that is, mobility on demand. With Sharing Advance, here we're dealing with new concepts in public passenger transport. And eDrive Advance, here we develop a comprehensive approach for electric mobility. With Advance, we are also changing our working culture. We are creating agile units that bundle diverse competencies and that work on individual solutions, ranging from mechanical and electrical engineers down to lawyers, psychologists, and social scientists. The new Sprinter will be the first model series where all these innovations are brought together. The result is a completely new concept that we no longer consider a vehicle. No, it's an overall system solution. We are expanding on the basic idea of the versatility of the product, that is the hardware as such, and transform it into a new, more intelligent design, while still offering the traditional Mercedes virtues like safety, comfort, and quality. Our flagship becomes a smart piece of hardware that we can adapt to any use case and any industry together with our customers. Our campus today is organized in a way that we present this combination to you, this combination of industry focus and innovative solutions. At some points, we'll already show you practical elements of the new Sprinter. We have prepared 6 labs for you, 3 on the fundamental features of the new Sprinter and 3 as examples for industry-specific solutions. This is for key industries. First of all, let me talk about the 3 innovation labs. Here we present hardware and services to you that are the basis for our overall solutions. In the Sprinter Versatility Lab, we demonstrate how far we're going regarding with customization. It starts in the cockpit. It is completely geared to the driver because the van is his workplace. That's why we set great store by a maximum in ergonomics and variance. We start with an entry variant, and you will also see a high-end cockpit. You'll see for yourselves in a moment. In general, the new Sprinter offers an enormous diversity and variability. It starts with the body variants already. We have the traditional cab or the double cab. We have a crew bus or panel van, depending on markets, of course, right-hand or left-hand drives. And on top of that, we have 4 different body lengths, variable tonnages, and the cargo space heights that come with it. And, of course, we also offer different drive versions. By the way, drive versions. Here we have come up with a very special solution, but you'll see that later. All in all, we can offer an enormous variety. The new Sprinter will come in more than 1,000 basic variants. And this does not even include the conventional equipment details like paint, air conditioning or seat configuration. This modularity is not an end in itself, it's a necessity, because the bandwidth in use has never been wider than today. Our customers are using the Sprinter as a high-end luxury bus for VIPs, but also as a construction vehicle that, at the end of the working day, is cleaned with a pressure washer. This flexibility must be reflected in the new generation, and we will do so, and we will even continue developing it. In the eSprinter Lab, we'll present the Sprinter as a module for locally emission-free, complete system solutions, and as part of our electric initiative eDrive at Vans. And what's very important, we don't just want to build a battery on wheels. Together with our customers, we want to develop an individual ecosystem. That's why we provide sustainable consultancy, and if the customer wishes, so we also offer the suitable charging infrastructure. Or we equip vehicles with connectivity services for e-mobility. And with our consultancy, we also see to it that this concept can be optimally integrated into the customer's business processes. In the medium term, by the way, we will electrify our whole commercial portfolio. Here we can profit from the technology transfer within the Daimler Group. Moreover, till 2019, we will invest an additional 150 million euros in this area. Our objective is an up-to-date electric mobility that doesn't just relieve cities and the environment, but that also offers a true added value to companies. And at the moment, we are the only major manufacturer with such a comprehensive concept, so the Sprinter in this area will be a pioneer too. And here the third innovation lab, digitization and intelligence, fits in very well. As I just said, infotainment, telematics, connectivity and state-of-the-art technology turn the Sprinter into a smart piece of hardware, an organic part of the Internet of Things. And thus, it's the perfect solution for a new era of digital logistics. The key for this is our new brand Mercedes Pro. Mercedes Pro is a digital ecosystem that integrates our connected vehicles, products and services. For our commercial customers, Mercedes Pro bundles all the offers that come from Mercedes-Benz vans under one umbrella. In the context of our new Sprinter, we offer our customers a wide range of connectivity services. For example, flexible route planning when the order situation is dynamic. Information about the current vehicle status or real-time maintenance management. These services can be bundled for certain tasks and they can be provided in industry-specific packages. For our customers, this is an enormous win in terms of efficiency. The many different tasks of fleet management can be done via one portal on one screen. We'll also demonstrate that to you in the lab. A wide variety, electric mobility, connectivity and smart services, these are the fundamental building blocks from which we compose an individual, complete solution for our customers. What form this can practically take will be demonstrated in the industry labs. Here we draw from decades of experience in most diverse industries, where our developments clearly focus on customer needs. The best example for this is the CEP industry, Courier Express services, and e-grocery. Here we have prepared a lab as well. In Germany alone, the number of parcels has almost doubled between 2000 and 2017, and till 2025 experts expect another duplication. The CEP industry is marked by an enormous cost pressure, and on top of that, speed and flexibility are required. This is particularly important in the strongly growing trend of also ordering food online. This so-called e-grocery segment is a special case of CEP and has completely different requirements. Just think of the different temperatures that are necessary for beverages, dairy products, or frozen pizza, for example. So in e-grocery, the refrigeration box body must be divided into different climatic zones so that the goods reach the customer just as if he had just picked them out of a supermarket shelf. So here we have high requirements on the vehicle and the cargo space concepts. In the People Moving Lab, we will talk about passenger transport. This transport segment already has a large share of the overall market, and in the future we will focus on this even more because there's increased traffic volumes in the cities, so new concepts like ride sharing and ride pooling are becoming more popular. For the various requirements all over the world, we must make use of the high adaptability of the Sprinter base design. Vans in this area are also highly reliant on connectivity so that they can communicate with all the platforms. Algorithms see to it that route planning is efficient and as flexible as possible. In the lab, we have prepared an example for you in this respect. In crafts and services, we'll demonstrate new Sprinters and how they can help craftspeople and service staff to make their daily working life more efficient. We are piloting a service that is called in-van delivery and return, for example. Here, the stock of spare parts in the vehicle is managed by logistics providers. This makes our customers' work more efficient and it saves time so they can do additional orders. Ladies and gentlemen, since 1995, the Sprinter has been a benchmark vehicle that mirrors progress. And with every new launch, it has redefined the segment. And as you see, we've lots of things in store for you today in order to convince you that this will also be the case with a new generation. So long, the Sprinter segment was defined by payload, load volume, and efficiency. These elements, of course, will continue to be important, but we add something else, other important aspects that are the be-all and end-all in modern logistics. Complete connection to the internet and seamless integration in business processes, particularly in the IT infrastructure. So the new Sprinter will remain true to its tradition, and once again, it will be the first specimen of a new category. The van as a smart piece of hardware and completely connected, holistic transport solution. Today, you'll see some teasers and experience what it will be like. Have a look at the technology and the concept. In the near future, there will be further events of this type where we will highlight other aspects. But for now, enjoy our Sprinter Innovation Campus. See you later. Thank you. Well, thank you to the two speakers. Hopefully you get an overview now about the concept and the strategy behind the new Sprinter. You can now dive into the labs. But first of all, some housekeeping remarks. Please use your color-coded cards and find the starting point of your tour through the 6 labs. So have a look at your card. Look at what color you have. You find the schedules at the entrance of the labs, but there are also hostesses that will take you to the right lab. You have enough time to visit every lab. There will be a short speech or presentation, and afterwards you can ask questions. We have organized the sequence so that you won't miss anything. But maybe after having gone through the 6 labs, or in between, there will also be lunch, and then there might be open questions. And for that, we are going to return to this place. So in the afternoon, we'll meet here in the forum for the last round to clarify open questions. But till then, enjoy the new Sprinter. Thank you.